We all know there are three articles, a, an and the. But most of the time students are confused where to use which article and where not to use any article. And what are the rules of these articles? It is all cleared in this lesson. In order to understand something, it's very important to know its definition. The definition of article is a word that modifies or describes the noun. It is used before the noun to show whether it refers to something specific or not. For example, he is a boy. In this sentence, a is an article and boy is a noun. A is specifying that there is only one boy. Similarly, it is an apple. Same as before, apple is noun and an is an article. An is specifying there is only one apple. Moving on, there are two types of articles, definite articles and indefinite articles. Definite articles are articles which are clear, exact or obvious about something, like the information or description it is giving about the noun it is attached to. Like in the previous example, he is a boy. The article a is describing the boy and it is obvious the boy is one. Indefinite articles on the other hand are not obvious and clear as they are related to many rules. We have to focus and understand what the article is referring to. First we'll talk about definite articles. A and an are definite articles. Definite articles are always used before a singular noun, but how to identify where to use a and where to use an? A doesn't have any special trait besides the fact that it is used where an is not used. But when we talk about an, there are a few rules. The first thing we should know when we are talking about an is that the knowledge that an is used before vowel alphabets is wrong. It's a myth. An is used before vowel sounds. Of course, vowel alphabets give vowel sounds, but it is not the case all the time. An is also used with words which have a silent H, like honest, but H is not a vowel alphabet. For the Urdu speakers, there is a trick. The words which start with alif usually have an with them, like igloo. We say alif gaf ig lam wa lu, igloo, and alif ye gaf egg. But this trick is also not 100% true. Like the one about vowel alphabets, they too sound different sometimes. So the only way to master these articles is to read and read a lot. We all know that the only indefinite article is the, but there are many rules surrounding this article and one by one we'll go through all of them. The first one we're gonna look into is what are the words that use only the. The names of rivers like the Nile and Indus always use the. The is always used with the point of globe like the North Pole and the South Pole. Geographical areas like the Middle East and the West always use the. Deserts, gulfs, forests and peninsulas like the Sahara Desert, the Black Forest, the Persian Gulf and the Iberian Peninsula, as in the examples, always use the. As I said before, there are a lot of rules regarding indefinite articles. The rest of the rules are: the is used with something that is already mentioned. Like, I saw a lion, the lion was very big. As you can see, at first I used a, then I used the. Because at first I was introducing the lion. Then I used it again, so I used the. So when we have to use the same thing again and again, we use the. When there is only one of something, like I took a walk in the forest, so there is only one forest nearby, so we use the. Some of you might get confused because of the earlier example I gave. It is an apple. The difference between that statement and this one is that an was signifying the quantity while the forest signifies there is only one forest. Let me explain with an example. Let's say I have one diamond and I show it to you. I'll say it is the diamond I own. But if I have 60 diamonds and I show you one of them, I'll say it is a diamond I own, with specific person, object or place. Example, I loved the book my dad gave me for my birthday. it is not any book, it is the specific book that his dad gave him on his birthday. Da is used with things that are unique or there is only one of them, like the sun, the moon, the president of Japan, etc. With ordinal numbers and superlatives. Ordinal numbers are spelled numbers like the 10th, the 11th, and superlatives are the third form of adjectives like the biggest, the baddest, etc. When a singular noun represents the whole class, like the dog is a faithful animal. This sentence is representing the whole species, or the fox is a clever animal. It is same as the last sentence representing the whole species. With holy books like the Quran, the Bible, while referring to names of journals and newspapers like the Dawn, the New York Times, etc. We're done with the use of the, but we should also know where not to use the. The exceptions are names of most countries and territories. We can't say the India, the Rome, but when the territory is a union of states like the UAE and the USA, we use the. Name of cities, towns, states like with Miami and Paris and Venice, we can't use the. Names of streets like the main street, we don't use the with streets. Name of lakes and bays like Lake Erie, but if there are a series of lakes like the Great Lakes, then we use the. Names of mountains like Mount Everest or Mount Fuji, but same as the lakes and countries, if there is a series of mountains like the Himalayas, then we use the. Names of continents, we don't use the with the names of continents like Asia and Europe. Names of islands, same as previous examples, singular islands like Easter Island don't use the, while series of islands like the Canary Islands use the. So a very common practice in this context is that singulars didn't use the while groups of them did. We have gone through where to use which article and where not to, but there is still one thing left. What are the nouns which don't use articles at all? Some common nouns that don't use articles are names of languages and nationalities like Chinese, African, American, etc. unless we are referring to the population, like the Spanish are known for their hospitality. We don't use articles with the names of sports like cricket, hockey, etc. And we do not use articles with the name of academic subjects like maths and science.